Ah, twins. The wonderful phenomenon in which two babies are produced by the same pregnancy, either monozygotic or dizygotic. A very fascinating concept which has piqued the interest of many a person before. Can twins really feel each other's feelings? Can they truly finish each other's? Guess I don't really have a twin, huh? What a shame. But you're not here to listen to this pseudo-biology lesson. You're here for Heroes of Might and Magic 3. So, that's what I'm gonna talk about. The scenario, Twins, doesn't actually follow HOMM3 Twins. It just means the map is very similar in the overworld and the underground. Not identical or mirrored, just similar. Like dizygotic twins. Neat concept. You can play as either red or blue, and your starting hero is placed quite far away from your starting town. Meaning, you have to find your way back to town before taking on your enemy. Or do you? In the red overworld, there are several small treasure zones containing some handsome rewards, like the Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment behind the dark blue border guard, as well as the pieces for the Statue of Legion. All of the artifacts in the overworld are static, which makes it less convoluted to map out this scenario. But if you have a keen eye, you will also have noticed that there are only 2 Keymasters tents in the overworld, and neither are for the treasure zones, meaning they're underground. The path to the underground is blocked by the green border guard, and the green Keymaster's tent is quite a long way from anything really. Also, there's a magic well here. Maybe that will be useful later. Anyway, it seems like everything about the overworld is really slow, so let's take a look at the underground instead. This is home to the least liked twin of the two. This entire zone is quite poor, with some exceptions. Some things of note are obviously the Keymaster's tents, giving access to the treasure zones in the overworld. This random tier 5 creature blocking the path to the red border guard that will always join you no matter what, making taking on the enemy color easier. This Seer's Hut, which provides you with 3 Archangels if you bring the Shackles of War, which are located right next to the overworld subterranean gates. But most importantly of all, this random relic artifact guarded by a random tier 5 creature. This is the ticket to a quick completion. Usually, I would go for a strong spellcasting artifact, like the Air Tome or Spellbinder's Hat, but since I need to make a huge round trip to level up my stats to take advantage of them, I would instead need something I could use immediately, like the Angel Wings. Don't need stats to fly over the map for free, do you? I want these as fast as possible. But how can I beat a tier 5 creature on day 1 with just my starting army, no extra spells, stat level ups or the like? That's easy. I just need Luna. But I also need the tier 5s to be a non-flying melee creature, so maybe not so easy after all. Even if I manage to get all of these things in one seed, how do I beat red with a small army, no spell upgrades and so on? I guess I'll have to put all my faith in the Fire Goddess's abilities. I could make a detour to the tier 5 joiners, or trade the shackles for the archangels, but that's extra time used. I think I should give it a go without either of them. Let's give this a twirl. So, the plan? Pray to RNGesus that I can find a seed where all the stars align, get angel wings, and run directly at red. Seems good? Probably not, but I think it can work. Alright, so blue Luna, check. Red as tower, as all their early creatures are melee, which is good for Luna's firewall, check. Scenario bonus can be whatever, so check. We are good to go. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, or maybe even become a channel member. I spent quite a while looking for a good seed, but in the end, I found the God Seed when entering this nearby tier 1 fight, making sure I'm faster and resetting 33 times. This seed has the angel wings. Yay! This fight against the gremlins is fairly straightforward, as there's no upgraded stack, but I still have to be mindful about mana usage. After luring the gremlins down, I set up a firewall in front of the most advanced of the 2 stacks, and just let them walk through. The fire kills 20 out of 21 gremlins, which lets me easily finish off the remaining one in each stack. Simple fight, so I'm just moving right along. I can see the angel wings are guarded by a pack of minotaurs, so no complaints here. There is one upgraded 2 stack which moves first, but it doesn't complicate too much. I need to lure all the minos into the narrow 2 hex corridor into my firewalls, which is why I moved the pixies and air elementals up after casting firewall on turn 1. My positioning is very deliberate, as I want the minos to behave in a certain way. On turn 2, one Mino King dies walking through the wall to attack my pixies, but the remaining one doesn't die to retaliation. I need to cast a second firewall to make sure all the Minos die walking through, so now I'm in big trouble. A pixie hit will take out the Mino King, but then another Mino stack will move afterwards, rendering my strategy useless. Unless I get a morale, which I do. Thank you, RNGesus. So I cast a second firewall, and the Minos just walk into their deaths. The AI is just so predictable. Picking up the angel wings afterwards, and I end turn 1 with some movement left over. On day 2, I move towards the subterranean gate, heading into the overworld, setting my sights on Red's starting hero's starting position. I see some movement on Red's turn, indicating that they're close. I find them close by on day 3, finding out it's Josephine. Otto loses, unfortunately, but he doesn't know how to use firewall, so he's excused this time. On this battlefield, there's another 2 hex corridor which I can abuse. Josephine starts with haste, so I take that into account and set up a firewall on turn 1. She then hastes her gremlins and moves forward with both them and the golems. On turn 2, I set up firewall number 2 behind the first one and just let Josephine walk her creatures into the grill. Is Luna George Foreman in disguise? I guess we'll never know. I truck on onwards, planning on making a pit stop by the Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment and refilling my mana afterwards. On day 4, I get the Helm, pay a visit to the Fountain of Youth for some movement points, get plus 97 spell points on the magic wall, and then head westwards for Red's Town. I'm one diagonal step away from reaching Red's Town on day 5, which is a bit of a heartbreak. Instead, Red feels daring enough to take me on during their turn, and Otto is again crushed. But I feel like this is doable. Since I got advanced fire magic on the way here, my firewalls are 3 hex now. I clump up my creatures and put a firewall in front of them. This strategy isn't great, and it would probably be quicker and easier to sacrifice one of the stacks in order to make the firewalls easier to place efficiently. Speeding up the battle a bit, you can see I struggle to find a good solution to this without sacrificing one of the stacks, as they mess me up quite a bit. Especially the gargoyles make it a bit annoying. The spell points are not an issue at this point, thankfully, and in the end, I find the win, losing just a few pixies. The fight win leaves Red's Town open and unguarded, meaning I clearly get an easy win on day 6 after riding gloriously into it. Never mind. Guess Red still has a hero out there somewhere. Shucks. I look around the map a bit to see if the lookout tower vision lets me spot them, but no luck. I make an educated guess that the hero is southeast and move out with Luna again. On day 7, I find the straggler hero, Gerd, with a kind of a poopy army to be honest. Even Otto wins with my own poopy army, and I just accept the results. 7-day win, 446 score, but as you can see from the speed of my Hall of Fame entry, I'm not happy about this run. Which means improvement time. It has to be said, this run you're about to see is using a strategy I figured out while editing the previous run. Originally, I had a different, not quite as fast playthrough for this part. I learned that scenario bonus actually matters, and this strat needs starting gold. So I swapped the scenario bonuses around. Same number of resets and same seed, mostly. We return to our hero at the end of day 1, angel wings in hand. Already on day 2, I diverged from the previous strategy. Now, after going to the overworld, I pick up this chest to the north, which nets me 1500 gold. The other 2 chests around the subterranean gate contain artifacts, which is why I go for this chest instead, before ending the turn in front of the tavern. The tavern I never mentioned in the intro. Day 3 and I hire Passis, who takes the air elementals off of Luna's hands and heads west towards Red's starting hero, finding no one. Yet. Luna then swings by the hill fort to upgrade the pixies to sprites for free, which will then get her more movement points to use the next turn, before visiting the Fountain of Youth again, and picking up the Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment again, ending the turn right in front of a hidden fight event. Thankfully, Red moves into Passis's view, and I can begin day 4 in a very good spot. I could play out this fight against Neela? How can the same seed have different heroes? Turns out, HOMM3 seeds don't work quite how I originally thought. Both Neela and Josephine are alchemists, so maybe hero class is what's generated in different seeds, not specific heroes. Anyway, Otto wins convincingly, and I don't plan on fighting more with passes, so I just accept the results. Instead, I go back to Luna, heading directly for Red's town, and due to careful planning and movement, I reach the town with minimal movement left, catching the remaining Red hero just outside the town gates. Nice! This is the Luna show, so with this extremely basic army, I go into what I hope is the final fight on day 4. Wowzers! Dermith massively out-armies Luna, but a Luna boosted by Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment is quite scary anyway. I spent some time figuring out exactly how I want to fight this, ending up placing a very far forward firewall, risking taking a hit from the gargoyles. They take the bait, flying directly into the fire, and are taken out after the fire damage plus sprite retaliation. I then place another firewall in front of the first one, hoping the gremlins are equally as unintelligent as the gargoyles. They're not. So I fly in for a hit, abusing the no retaliation ability of the sprites, before flying back over the firewall. This time, the gremlins walk through. A 9 spell power firewall takes out 50 gremlins, and I can just go in for another hit afterwards. A Hail Mary fortune cast from Dermith on the 2 remaining gremlins is extremely futile, and my sprites retaliate for the win. Red is vanquished, I'm victorious. In 4 days. I'm struggling to see how this could be done any faster, but I'm open to be surprised. 446 score and Archangel rank is starting to become a tradition at this point. I'm cocky enough to write "no way to improve" as player name, and I'm just hoping this won't come back to bite me at some point. From 7 to 4 days, that's really good. Initially, I was happy with the 5-day run I had in between these 2 runs shown in this video, but this was a good playthrough. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed playing. If you did, I hope you will like, comment and subscribe. If this kind of gameplay tickles your fancy, you can also become a channel member. I hope to see you next time, that you have a might and magically good day. Bye bye. A huge thank you to all my channel members: Onufry, Sebastian Kopacz, Retorado Ricardo, Manajarmer Running Skull, Chaos, Dante, Milkman, Matt H, Seal Oil, Rick Vishaupt, Escubani, Anubnimus, and Radnosaur. Your support is extremely appreciated. Thank you again.